All right, you're watching the Sports Roundup Show. This is our MLB segment. Baseball playoffs are going on right now. The Dodgers are on their way to the NLCS once again, first time in 2 years. Of course, last year lost in 5 games to the Washington Nationals, but this year they beat the San Diego Padres 3-game sweep. They clearly show that they are a better team. San Diego was, of course, the second best team in the National League this year, but in the end, I think the Dodgers really just showed that they're hitting at another level, and their pitching came through yesterday. They had a bullpen game, but they still shut.
You said what, Mike?
Their pitching came through yesterday against the San Diego. Only gave was it 3 runs, even though they had a bullpen game. But it was a great win. Kershaw on Tuesday had a good game. He didn't have a great game. He did have a bad 6th inning. Gave up 3 runs, back-to-back home runs. But the Dodgers still won. Mookie Betts has been the most valuable player for the Dodgers. Really showing why he's getting paid that amount. I mean, that's
getting paid the big bucks.
Yeah, he's one of the highest paid players in the game, and I think he deserves it. But yeah, I'm excited. But I'm going to say the first 2 rounds, the Dodgers really played 2 teams that I don't even think would have made the playoffs in regular season, in a normal 160-game season.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
That if it was a regular season, because they was talking about this like before Corona happened and everything, that during spring training, that those 2 teams, San Diego and San
Milwaukee.
Francisco, they were expected to be like the bottom feeders, like at the bottom, but the 60 games that kind of changed everything.
Yeah, it kind of changed everything. And I think those 2 teams, they really didn't belong in the playoffs. They obviously qualified in a 60-game season, but I think in a normal circumstance, I just don't think they would have had enough to make the playoffs. They just didn't have the pitching to last 160 games. As we know, the Dodgers, they would have made the playoffs in a short season, a long season. They were going to make it anyway. They're probably the best team in the National League. And that's just not because I'm a Dodger fan. I think they are on paper the best team in the National League. But now they're going to be playing the Atlanta Braves, who also were considered one of the best teams in the National League going in before coronavirus. They would have made the playoffs in 160 games. They have great pitching. They have a good hitting core as well. They even were going to be better. They picked up Yasiel Puig when the virus hit. He didn't join the team event, because he tested positive, but they would have been even better had they had Puig. But they're a good team, Atlanta. So I don't think we're going to see a 4-game sweep by the Dodgers. I see this going maybe 6-7 games.
And I say this, Mike, as an offensive shootout. Of course, we all hope, especially Mike hopes, that Kershaw shows up to get maybe, of course, a lot of Ks, no hitters, something. But of the junior from the Braves, Acuna Jr., Ronald from the Braves.
Yeah, I can't hear you anymore.
For the Dodgers. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost.
What about now, Mike?
I lost you, man. Okay, are you back?
Can you hear me now?
It's like freezing. Okay,
what about now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, okay.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's just like kind of slow, but I can hear you.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Cool, I lost the whole. I didn't hear anything. Just say the whole thing again. Yeah.
No, it's cool. No, yeah. I was gonna say. I was saying that it's gonna be an offensive showdown to me, between the Dodgers and the Braves. It's because the Braves they have some offensive hitting with Freddie Freeman. You got Ronald Jr.
Yeah. He's really good too.
Of course, the Dodgers. You got Bellinger, Betts, Seager. Well, maybe I'll take that back, Mike. Because that's a good question. Would it come down to the offense, to whichever side? But the pitching may come into a factor to try to stop each other offense. Correct. So, which one would you?
I think for me, the pitching is going to be what's going to probably decide the series. I think Atlanta's pitching has been probably maybe even better than the Dodgers. They've only given up 4 runs in the whole playoffs. So they pretty much shut down Miami. Didn't give up any runs in the first round. only gave up runs in one of the 3 games against the Marlins. We know the Marlins, of course, probably didn't belong in the playoffs. They were not a very good team. I don't even know how they beat the Cubs, but that's something else. They've won 2 games in Wrigley Field somehow, but yeah, the Braves, their pitching has been really good. So they got a great bullpen, great starting pitching.
They swept Cincinnati too.
Yeah, they haven't lost, just like the Dodgers, 5-0. So yeah, we definitely have 2 really good teams. This is like the worst match of the Dodgers could have got, right? I mean, they would have obviously preferred the Marlins, maybe even the Cubs, because the Braves probably can't compete with the Dodgers. They didn't even play each other this year, so that also benefits, I think, the Braves, because the Dodgers don't really know everything about the hitters, and that obviously affects as well.
And then to your point about like they don't know about I mentioned this a couple weeks ago on our show, how with the Dodgers lineup have like their position is just so their batting lineup is so versatile. They can start with left-handed, they can start with right-handed, do 1, 2, 3, with either Betts at 3, Bellinger at the 4, hitting. So it all depends, and that's what can play into the favor of the Dodgers to win the series is the versatility of the positions that they have.
And then also another thing too is the scheduling of the series is something that's I think it's not gonna benefit a lot of teams. There's no days off. Normally you have 2 games and a day off, and then 3 games and a day off. This time around they're gonna go all straight through. They start on Monday and they could potentially play all 7 days in a row. So that's gonna affect the pitching. The Dodgers have 2 good starting pitchers, but after that, they don't really have a solid starting pitcher. So that's also gonna affect too, I think. Going to need somebody to pitch on 3 days rest, and I don't know if Kershaw can do that at his age.
That's a good point, Mike. This is one of the effects of course, the virus that's trying to make everything. So this is kind of like with the NFL scheduling. This is kind of like with the NBA being in a bubble. This is just something that teams aren't used to, that they're gonna have to adjust, and that's a big factor, because let's say it goes to Game 7, like you said. I know Mike. He don't think Kershaw can probably pitch on 3 days without regular anyway. But as you said, he's getting older. And do you take that chance? Because think about this, Mike. More than likely, because MLB they were trying to have the series, the World Series in October, because October baseball. What if that game is only 1 day rest before the World Series start?
So it will be. Game 7 would be on Sunday, and the World Series would be just 1 day off, and then Tuesday the World Series starts. So
with Kershaw start, he won't be able to play Game 1 more than likely. Yeah. So that could play a factor.
Yeah, I mean this series goes 7 games. It's going to affect. I mean, we have to wait and see what happens in the American League, but in the National League, I think if one series goes 7 and the other guys get out in 4, that's going to benefit the team that gets out in 4 games. So the Dodgers. Of course, hopefully they can win in less than 7. Hopefully this is done in 4 or 5, but I don't know. We have to just wait and see how it plays out. But maybe the Braves aren't at the level of the Dodgers. We don't know, because they haven't played each other this year, so it's a big question mark.
And then speaking to your pitching, I think also the defense is going to come into effect for both teams too. The Dodgers were number 1 inside the whole league, if I'm correct, or number 2, number 1, the top for giving up runs throughout the whole league at 1.5 for the season. The Braves were 5th with 1.7 runs given up throughout the whole season. So let's say somebody does mess up, Kershaw or someone of the Braves, it'll come down to who we pay a lot of money to, the Betts, Bellingers.
Yeah.
If they can get to the ball to get that.
Yeah, so that's what hopefully happens. And then, of course, in the other American League, the Yankees will be playing Tampa Bay today in Game 5. The winner goes to the championship series against the Astros. The Yankees are going to be pitching Garrett Cole on a 3 days rest. So we're going to see how he does tonight. Of course, we know he got that big contract in the offseason, but I don't think he's ever pitched on 3 days rest in his MLB career. So he throws 100 miles an hour. So I wonder if he's going to be able to do that on 3 days rest. Yeah. So the Yankees right there, not going to be able to use Garrett Cole for game one if they win against the Astros. But boy, I mean, as a Dodger fan, I am not
I was
happy at
about to ask you
all
that, Mike.
about the
I was about to
Astros,
ask
man.
you that, Mike.
Not happy at all. I mean, come on, man. They scored 33 runs in 4 games against Oakland. I mean, they got to be cheating again. They have to be. That's it,
He
man. I
said they got
mean,
to be
I
cheating
said it.
again.
The Houston Astros are cheating again.
Mike, so would you want to see them in a World Series to get revenge, or would you just not want to see them at all?
I don't want to see them at all, man. I just want to. I want to wait till next year so I can go see them in
And then
person.
you
Yeah,
can,
yeah. Then we can just let it all out. Nah, man.
I
But
get
nah, I
you.
don't. I prefer. I don't like the Yankees either. So I'm rooting for the Rays. Go Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Hopefully
And
they
then,
can win today.
Mike, I got another question for you. Definitely, you might not want it. What I don't know if this plays into a factor, but would you not want to see them in a World Series, Houston? Because the World Series is going to, of course, be in Texas.
Yeah,
They might have more of a home field
they
advantage,
would have
right?
a home field advantage. I
Yeah.
definitely think Houston fans it's gonna be an easier trip for them to go there. I know for LA it's gonna be you have to go on a plane. Some people don't want to fly right now. So yeah, I definitely think it's not fair. Think about it. They'll be playing in Texas all 7 games. I mean, how
Because
is that fair?
that stadium, if I'm correct, is not too far from Houston Stadium, right? I think
It's a
the stadium
couple
is
hours
Austin.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a few hours away because they're in Dallas and
Dallas.
yeah,
See,
so it's a few hours. It's not it's closer from here to Dallas. Obviously, you could
yeah.
drive from Houston to Dallas and get there in a day. So I think that's definitely going to be a huge advantage. But also, I think if it's the Yankees and the Dodgers, that's going to be a very difficult series. Anybody can win that.
I'm with you. That rivalry,
Yeah,
of course,
it's
knows how far it goes back and whatnot.
huge rivalry.
But um, uh, with the pitching of the Yankees, and then it'll come down to the hitting
Yeah,
of the Dodgers,
and the Yankees.
who of course went out.
Yeah, so that would be a tough series. So hopefully Tampa Bay can win today. Although, do you really think Tampa Bay is going to beat the Yankees? I mean, it's probably going to be hard, man. Anything can happen, right?
In 2020,
Yeah, maybe Tampa Bay could
anything,
pull it off today.
anything
We'll
can
see what
happen.
happens. So I want to thank everybody for watching our baseball segment. Make sure you like us on YouTube and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Sports Roundup Show. We're doing this every Friday. Thanks for watching, everybody.